Raise your hand if you grew up comparing yourself to every pop star and magazine cover and swore you would never pass that down to your kids. Yeah, same. This week on Moms in the Middle, I'm chatting with therapist Elizabeth Westbrook to talk about ending the comparison cycle, how our daughters quietly absorb our body talk, and the small, doable changes that move the needle. Let's get into it. Hi there. Thanks for joining us for Moms in the Middle. This is a new podcast from the team at Houston Moms focused on those in between years, tweens, teens, even early adulthood. My name's Brandi. I'm one of the co owners here at Houston Moms, and we are literally Houston moms navigating a lot of the same challenges you are. We're going to try to talk about all of it. We are always open for suggestions. So before I introduce today's guest, let me know what you want to hear about. You can email Brandi at houstonmom.com. That's Brandi with an I at houstonmom.com. Our guest today is Elizabeth Westbrook. She is owner of the Reclaimed Collective. She is a licensed clinical social worker, certified neuropsychotherapist, certified mediator, and court appointed parent facilitator, also a mom of four, and someone who's built her whole career around the conversations most of us were taught to whisper about. I cannot wait for you to meet her. Elizabeth, thank you for joining us today.
Sure.
One of the topics that you address with your clients is this idea of ending the comparison cycle. And um, I'm a millennial mom. We grew up with incredible body shaming and
Sure
just
did.
comparisons to pop stars, actresses, just the insane standards that were set for them that we then held for ourselves.
Sure.
How are we as moms supposed to navigate this internal struggle that we have, you know, with raising daughters so that they're not enduring the same thing?
Yeah. I think in many ways I'm a millennial mom too, right? And so when we think about what messages were given to us, like my mom was a Thighmaster mom. You have a Thighmaster mom? You know what I'm talking about?
I have a share aerobics workout mom.
Yeah. And so we see these things, and so just our toe in the sand to it compared to what our teenagers and what our young, our children are seeing right now, it was just night and day. To compare social media, to compare that is just like it's astronomically different. And so I think sometimes like we as parents want to balk against social media, but like it's not going anywhere. So how do we kind of reorient our children in a world that is filtered and fake and be able to say, "Okay, let's look at the truth. Let's look at the reality of how things are." And if we can't really pour out things that we ourselves don't already have. And so if we're struggling with our own body stuff, that might be a sign for us if we're struggling with what to tell our kids and then we're living something that's entirely different. If there's hypocrisy in our kind of walk, they're gonna clock that. They're gonna clock it so quick. And so that may just be it just may be a yellow flag to say, "Hey, maybe I've got some things in my own life from my own mom that I need to unpack to really have that conversation well."
And I've tried to be really good about that, especially as the girl my girls are 19 and 20. So as they
Okay.
got older, being really cognizant of what I was saying about my own body, but things slip. And I think what I didn't realize, and I've only really started to, is how they internalize
Mhm.
those comments.
Right.
How do you work through with your clients processing that in a healthy way?
Sure. I think if we normalize the fact that we all kind of have those thoughts, like we
Mhm.
all have intrusive thoughts, we all have impulsive thoughts, we all have this thing that like doesn't quite make sense. And then what do we do with that? Are we ruminating on it? Or are we taking every thought that we have? Like our feelings are real. Yes, absolutely. And sometimes they're not always the most reliable narrator. So if what I'm constantly saying is like, if I'm seeing a carte blanche, all carbs are bad, or I have to work this off. Some of those messages, if we can just be attuned to maybe what feels like a flippant statement, I think that's just really careful data for us as moms to be able to say, "Hey, baby, like I heard you kind of say like, oh, I can't have that because we're having pasta for dinner. You feeling okay?" Like that type of stuff can be really helpful, coupled with what are the compliments and the praises that we're giving our children. If it's always about academic, sports, body, they may attune their value to just those kind of 3 things, And so, wow, you were so like you had such integrity. You told the truth whenever I know it was hard. You helped your sister clean their room. You can do developmentally appropriate praise that has nothing to do with the way that their body looks.
I wish I had these notes when the girls were so much younger because that it is so important, and I realized that, I think, a little late. I feel like these conversations were, um, like, part of like, got normalized in society a little later for us, but how important is it that we're having them now because previous generations just didn't?
100%. And you too, like your kids are a step ahead of where mine are. Do you feel like you were able to, like, as you saw them age and as they grew and social media kind of was more present for them earlier than it was for my kids, did you notice that like the conversations that you were having just kind of naturally unfolded based off of what was going on around you?
In large part, yeah,
Yeah.
they are very different. So I think the oldest, has never really taken to heart that kind of stuff. She looks to social media for, aesthetic inspiration as far as outfits, not
Yeah.
body type.
Yeah.
And the younger one really gravitated toward that side of things, and it
Mhm.
got really unhealthy
Sure.
really quickly. And trying to undo that is the hardest part of it all. Um like you mentioned, social media is everywhere. It's a huge part of their life.
Yeah.
They get on an algorithm that just keeps feeding them.
Yes. Yeah, and us too, right? Like, we're on it too,
Yeah.
probably.
I can tell you what my youngest daughter had in her Instagram algorithm, just based on who she was following and the posts she was liking. It was entirely different than mine in a really, really unhealthy, body shaming,
Uh-huh.
pro anorexia way.
I'm so sorry.
And it's difficult to wean them off of that. But I'm so glad that there are, folks like you who can help guide parents through that, but also the kids to help them realize exactly what you said, what is real, what is filtered, and
Yeah.
and what's produced for social media.
Well, and my kids saw me go through like, I am very open about my own past and struggle with disordered eating. I have 2 of my children. I've got 2 daughters and 2 sons, and they have seen me kinda doing 2-a-days, living in CrossFit, just doing my Fitness Pal, like, they walked with me through that season, and I'm not the same size that I was then, and, I'm not a little gal. Like, I'm a tall there's a lot here, right? I'm not a little Polly Pocket. And so I in having to embrace that part of myself, have to have the trade-off of, okay, I am mentally more healthy at this weight because I am able to understand my relationship with food and not tie it to my worth. And so my kids, good or bad, the reality of their childhood has been I've seen my mom kind of walk through her own stuff, and I pray that they see on the other side of it that there can be health. It may take a little bit of some sorting out for them.
Yeah, on that topic, how do you encourage them to be active and pursue wellness, but without a level of obsession about it becoming their entire identity?
Yeah. I, um I don't know. Um, and also, right, I think there can be like a clinical answer, right? But there can
Mhm,
also then be the like, okay, but how do I logistically do this? And I think consistency is 100% key. If you are a family that values physical fitness or athletics and things like that, or like you're counting on a scholarship to go to college, well, then when we're hitting the gym more, there's some pressure tied to that. Like you don't get to go maybe to the college that you want if you don't do well in the combine or whatever, because it's not just girls. Like,
mhm,
boys have it too.
yeah.
And so where are they growing their muscle mass? What are they doing? And so being able to recognize, are they making self-deprecating statements? Are we kind of aware of nutrition and what that looks like? Do we believe that all carbs are bad? Do we believe that all fats and proteins are created equal? And so even just some basic nutritional education, being able to kind of fuel these children, um, can help make it, hey, this is a lot like a lifetime of self-care, as opposed to being punitive or where our identity is. Like you're gonna run a slow race one day. You're not gonna make the soccer goal. And also, I love you so much. I am so proud of you. You are incredible. Um, I love everything about you. It was a rough day and I'm still here. Let's go. I don't know. Whatever y'all do as a family.
Yeah, I love that. Final thoughts on just
Sure.
raising teens who respect their bodies and don't constantly criticize them like we were raised to do.
Mhm. There is a lot that has to do, I think, with peer group as well.
Mm.
And so I really love being the house where like people come and gather. Like I wanted that. Yeah, it's loud. Yeah, it's messy, but I want to be able to have eyes on who is it that my kids are around. Like kids are smart and they have all the technology that we didn't. Like we had AIM Messenger. Like we had our screen names and we had a Nokia faceplate. Like I had the light up battery. Like the access to being able to kind of skirt some loopholes is different now. And so I try to be mindful of while I cannot control who my children hang around, I want to know. I want these kids to know that I am present. And so being able to hear some of the messages that they don't think that maybe I'm listening to, it's like, okay. And then we follow up with it later. So it's not I'm a working mom, right? I can't be everywhere all the time, but as much as I am home and I can be present, I work really hard to make sure that, I have some involvement in the social side of my kids' lives as well, and I think that's been a big help for us.
Yeah, that's huge. Were there any final thoughts you wanted to share, just overall on this topic about moms, daughters, body image?
Yeah, I think that you are probably, like, the final thought because we're in different stages and you're saying,
Mm.
"Hey, like, I have walked through this and I'm having these conversations, even if it maybe not was what I wanted it to be, I'm having them now." And so I don't think that we're ever too far gone to be able to course correct and be able to say, "Oh, wow, I recognize that I may be having some, like, little microaggressions, some passive aggressive, like, getting a little the jeans are getting a little tight, baby," or, "Hey, man, like, putting on a little weight, lay off the video games," like, being mindful of what comes out of our mouth can be really just a simple step, no matter where you are in your journey. If you feel like you've blown it, you very likely have not.
It's funny that you say that because I, started watching what I was saying specifically for the kids. They're now away at college,
Yeah.
but I will still,
Catch it?
when I'm home and getting ready, that thought comes in. I'm like, no, no, in a
Yeah,
way, it's definitely benefited me as
sure. I
well.
love that. You're
Well,
incredible mom.
I'm always a work in progress for
Yeah.
sure. Are if someone wants to follow up with you on this topic, or they have a child who's struggling, how can they get in touch with you and take this a step farther?
Sure. So, I own the Reclaimed Collective. So reclaimed-co.com is our website. We have myself and another clinician, and that is bilingual English Spanish. And so she's phenomenal. We have 4 sites around the Houston metro and then also virtual as well. And so we're on social media and all offer complimentary phone consultations. And so, yeah, we like to be able to remove as many barriers to access to care as possible. So we'd love to chat with anybody that wants to take it a step further.
Wonderful, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
New episodes of Moms in the Middle drop every Wednesday, so make sure you're following along. Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you next week in the middle.